What's up, guys? Chris here with Tight Lines, and welcome back to another episode. It was a tough Labor Day weekend from a fishing perspective, but I hope you guys all had an excellent Labor Day weekend. Hopefully you got some more fish than what we did, but we tried. So a lot of good stuff though. We hit 25 subscribers, and so I just want to say thank you very much to everybody who has subscribed. And I'd like to say, if you help us get to 50, I'm going to do a giveaway. So I really want to say thank you by doing that. And so please share the account, share the channel, share the videos, give a thumbs up, leave some comments, help us get to 50. And then, as we go up, we'll continue to do some giveaways, right? So, but I wanted to say thank you. Hopefully you can see that this is a bit of a better setup, and the camera looks better, and hopefully the sound is good. Hopefully it's noticeable. So I was gifted a wonderful camera that thank you from the bottom of my heart, because this is really amazing and wonderful. I think this is going to be helpful to take the channel to the next level and really get some good videos for you guys. So at least we'll have two different cameras that we can set up and two different camera angles. And so I've been shooting everything so far on just a generic type of a generic GoPro basically, and it's been good for what it is, but it definitely can be improved. But for now, this is really great as far as being able to go up a step. This is definitely helpful to have hopefully better sound, better video, to have two different cameras so we can get multiple angles, and hopefully this will really beef things up. And as I've said before, I really hope that more and more of you that are watching these videos take the time to let me know what you want to see, especially for the Cup of Neuro type stuff, right? So the Friday Night Neuro episodes that I'm doing, I want to know what you guys are interested in. I'd really like to get other people, involved and be able to talk about the topics that you want to know about. And then I also, for those that are neuroscientists out there, let me know, what are things that you think that the general public should know about? What are things that you'd like to be involved in? That's important to me. In addition, I think that it would be really fun to have some people to join me to do some of these, right? So if you're interested in doing a Friday Night Neuro episode, let me know. If you're interested in doing a fishing episode with me, let me know. I want to know. So for those that are watching for the fishing stuff, thank you so much. Again, I apologize. It was a really tough weekend. Got some little dinks. If you're on Fishbrain, as usual, make sure you check that out. But if you're on Fishbrain, you can see we had some little small bass, and it took literally the entire day. I think we drove about 100 miles all over Virginia trying to find fish. We finally got to some, finally got on them, and that was great. But yeah, so definitely take a look. You guys can see that. Hopefully I'll get some fishing videos up here shortly. I got to go through all of the footage and stuff from the weekend, see if I've got enough to put something together for you guys. It was a really slow weekend, I'm not going to lie. It was really slow as far as fishing goes, but it was very relaxed. It was very, enjoyable. So, hopefully you guys all had a good weekend getting some fishing in. And hopefully, as the fall comes in, we'll have some even better fishing. I'd like to do some stuff talking about grad school here coming up. I think that's an important topic. One thing I'd like to also eventually talk about is teaching for those that are interested in going to academia. I started off in teaching in the corporate world and the military before that. And so, I want to kind of share some of those, a little bit of the suggestions and recommendations and things like that based on my own experience. The other thing I wanted to do for this special episode was to just kind of talk about myself a little bit, let you guys know about me. I just got some food, so I'm gonna get my plate together here, and then I'll sit and eat and chat with you guys and do a little mukbang action. So I'll see you in just a second. So I got one of my favorites, which my guess is that it's probably also a favorite of many others out there. I got Chinese food for dinner tonight. So I thought that would be a nice, easy way to sit and chat. And it's been a long weekend just driving around and stuff, but it was good. What a better way to finish that off than with a little good Chinese food at a local place that's, you know, your basic greasy spoon Chinese place. For those that might not know, fun fact about me, I do Google reviews, so I have pictures on Google that have actually, at this point, I'm at like almost 2.2 million views total, and I have reviews out there for places, so I generally like to try it, and you know, I like to try new places, I like to taste food, I like to go experience things. So hopefully in the future I'll get to do some of those for you guys. This, like I said, this is basic, like just your, you know, this is some house lo mein. So good. Got some dumplings, some crab rangoons, different pieces of stuff here. But for those that don't know, I wanted to share a little bit about me. I know people have a question, you know, might have questions, and so, you know, I started off. When I came out of high school, I didn't really know what I was going to do. I ended up going into the Navy. So I was in the United States Navy. I was a quartermaster. You know, I basically did navigation for the ships. I was on the USS Mahan, which is a guided missile destroyer. And then I was on the USS Kaufman. That's what I did my 6-month deployment on. That is a guided missile frigate. And, you know, I loved what I did. I was also on the Visit Board Search and Seizure team, which was a team where we would board merchant vessels and search them for not necessarily narcotics, but like weapons and technology and money and people, things like that. I really enjoyed doing that. It was very tactical. It was a fun thing to do. After the military, I was a chef for a little bit. I enjoyed that, but at the same time, I really didn't enjoy that. I like to cook and I like to eat. I just didn't like the intense pressure and getting yelled at. For me, it was just wasn't fun. After that, you know, I did sales. I worked with my dad as an insurance salesman, and I worked with him for a little bit, tried that out, realized that not my thing, and you know, kind of did some other, you know, different types of jobs, and eventually ended up in a technical customer service role, which led to me moving into corporate learning and development. And that was something that I really loved. I really enjoyed it. It was something where I understood that when I went to classes, I didn't want to just sit and listen to somebody that was boring and didn't understand me, didn't understand what I wanted to do, didn't understand how I like to hear things, didn't care. And I didn't want to do that same thing. And I liked the idea of trying to increase performance. And it was like, you know, you can give examples and you can do training that's on a specific topic. But the problem that I always had is that it was not really made to what was real. And so, you know, there was a lot of this where I felt like I could improve it and I could do something special. And that was kind of where I got into the idea of teaching, was that, like, you know, it really solidified for me when I worked in that position. And I mean, I'd done some training in the military, just as a collateral duty, and I enjoyed it. But it wasn't until I worked for as a contractor in this type of position, and I you know, was working training our technicians, that I really, when that happened, it really solidified for me that I was like, oh, I really like being in front of people. I like teaching people. I like learning new things, and I want to help other people to be excited about it and learn new things. So that's something else I'm hoping to do on here, is to do some things about, you know, tying certain fishing knots, or you know, setting up certain types of rigs, you know, possibly looking at, you know, doing specific things with specific software for grad school and things like that. So I've got lots of ideas, so hopefully those will be coming up. But you know, I think that for me, that manifested itself into I threw myself into it. I went to school. After a while, you know, I was at one point a director level position in training and development, in charge of an entire market of hundreds of people, and you know, it was interesting for me because I liked it, and then after that, our company lost the contract. Kind of things fell apart. It was really hard. It was during the recession. I went back to school and I started working on my degree, which I never thought I would get. And I got a bachelor. Ended up after 4 years, got a bachelor's degree in psychology with a concentration in work and organizational psychology. So specifically workplace psychology. I wanted to look at the way that people are treated in the workplace and they work together. So a lot of teams and groups and things like that. Leadership. Those were all topics that were really salient for me, man. They were really super important. I just made sense. I liked it. And then, I decided to go even further beyond. And so I did take time and eventually got into a program with Nova Southeastern University. I had tried a couple other programs that were very work psychology focused. But what I found was that in working in business consulting, I wasn't really connecting with this idea that, okay, the science says this, but we're really more focused on doing this other thing. And it was like, okay, but the science should be the thing that's driving us to decide what we're doing and how we're doing, right? So that was really hard for me. So for my master's degree, I went to Nova Southeastern University and worked on a master's in general psychology with a concentration in behavioral neuroscience. And that's where I really started to get to, okay, there's a biological component, and I started getting very interested in what is the workplace doing to us, and how do you change behavior from a neurological perspective, so from a very biological focused perspective. And I always felt like in psychology that we talked about the brain and we talked about the mind, but I felt like that neuroscience talked about the brain and psychology talked about the mind. And I felt like you have to have both. And so for me, it was super important to be able to connect both. And so now I get to do that, and I love that. Like, I believe you have to understand both, and you need both to make it make sense. Crab Rangoon. So, that being said, my PhD is very focused on cellular and molecular neuroscience, which was very different than what I'd done in the past. And it has been somewhat of a challenge to learn all the techniques and all the background and all the pieces and parts that weren't necessarily there for everything else I was doing. So it's been an adjustment, but I'll tell you, I couldn't be happier with learning all the different pieces and parts that I didn't have before and being able to put that together with what I did have. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is, A, to give you a bit of an introduction to myself and explain that, like, I have a pretty varied background, and B, for those that are interested in going into neuroscience or any other field, just know that, like, you don't have to pick one specific thing. You can, I think it's important to remember that there's lots of paths that lead to the end goal. And I'm, a perfect example of that. So I just want people to know that, like, you don't have to take the same exact path that everybody else does. I didn't go back to school to get my bachelor's degree until I was 26, 27? Actually, it might have been, 27. So, you don't have to do everything the same way everybody else does. And I think that your life and your experiences can help to, in some ways, really help you to figure out what it is you want to do. I think that it's easy for some people to just know what they want to do. I wasn't one of those kids. Personally, I liked science, but I liked about a lot of other stuff, and I wanted to experience a lot of stuff. And even now, even in my life now, I mean, I'm doing lots of different things. You know, I like to travel. I like to do food reviews. I like to do pictures. I like to do YouTube. I like to do, you know, teaching. I like to do research. I like all of these things, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. That's what makes us each and every one very unique. So I think that that's super important to remember when it comes to figuring out, like, what do you want to do? And for those out there that are, you know, over 30 or around 30 or, you know, 40 or whatever, you know, I'm here to tell you that you can still make those choices. You can still figure out and change. And, you know, there's a lot of people that I watch on YouTube that I look at and I go, wow, their lives have been very interesting. For those that maybe haven't watched it, there's a guy that has a channel called Lunkers TV. He was in the Army. You know, he went and did other things after that, but eventually now has settled into YouTube and, you know, makes a very good living doing it, I'm sure. Seems quite successful doing it. Probably not where he thought he would end up or what he thought he'd end up doing. There's another guy, Lake Fork Guy. He has, and they both have not one but two channels. They have one that's focused on, you know, what they started, and then they have one that's their family, and I love that. I think that's great. I watch both of them. I think that Lake Fork Guy has on his channel, he's talked about his past and how he was in the college fishing circuit and then was a guide for a while and then did the tour circuit and then decided, no, I can't do that, and sold fishing gear. And you know, it's like all these kinds of things where he was still around that same industry but finding different ways to be involved, and it was really hard. I mean, and now he's doing YouTube and he's, you know, making stuff at home, doing woodwork, and you know, he's got the Guggen. Both of these guys are part of the Guggen Squad, which is a group of guys that have built up a brand, and they sell, you know, their baits and their products. But the point is that my guess is that's not where they originally thought they were going to start off, and it's not where they thought they were going to end up. So don't assume that just because where you start is where you have to finish. There's lots of options out there, and I think it's really narrow. And unfortunately, it's the way that it's life, but you don't have to follow a single path, you know, like experience the world, go and find out things and do things. And that's one of the reasons why I want to do this, is because I feel like I've gone around the world, I've seen all sorts of stuff, and I really would like to share that. And I like to teach people new things. I like to share things that I've experienced and hopefully help other people have experiences. Not to mention, you know, having new experiences actually helps you to fortify your brain and keep you mentally healthy. So that's good. So as of the time of this, you know, I still have a lot of different things that, you know, I'm in the middle of and doing, and I don't think it's gonna stop. You know, I'm still fairly young, and you know, I think and for the rest of my life I'll be trying new things and experiencing new things, and hopefully, you know, other people can enjoy that as much as I do, whether it's from them doing it themselves or getting ideas, or just coming along and joining with me. You know, I'm fine with that too. So, you know, I want to share that joy with you guys. Kind of like the joy of this Chinese food here. It's so good. So if you guys have specific questions or comments, you want to know about me, you want to know about something I'm doing, leave a comment. You know, let me know. Also, in order for us to do the giveaway, we need to get to 50 subscribers, and then I'll have an episode. I'm not going to tell you guys what the giveaway is going to be, but it's going to be good. I promise it'll be something good. If you guys have suggestions for what you'd like for me to give away at 50 subscribers, let me know. We want to keep growing this thing. I want to see this double and triple and quadruple, and you know, I want to turn this into something where I can do some fun stuff with you guys. I can, you know, on the fishing side do some really cool stuff, and then on the neuroscience side do some really cool stuff, and hopefully just keep making it bigger and better, and making it fun for me, making it fun for my family, making it fun for you guys. So thank you so much for everybody's support. I still have a ton of dinner left, and if I keep on eating in front of the camera here, it's going to be, you know, another 30 minutes or so. So thank you guys so much, and let's just keep growing this thing together. Let's keep on learning together and exploring together. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity, and I hope that it ends up being something where I can touch some people out there and really connect with some of you guys. Hopefully you really enjoy it. I enjoy doing it, and you know, just thank you so much. Make sure you share, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you're putting the word out there. You know, definitely put the notification bell on so you guys know when the next videos come out. Thank you so much, and as always, I'll see you next time. Tight lines.